So, what does it really take to make a lasting impact as an educator? I mean, not just for one class or one year, but over an entire career. Well, today, we're going to break that down by looking at one incredible example, a 30-year mission to build better citizens. Let's dive in.
It all kicks off with this really powerful idea from Supreme Court Justice Felix Frankfurter that in a democracy, the most important job any of us have is just being an informed, engaged citizen. And that single idea, it became the North Star for an entire career in teaching.
Okay, so you've got this big philosophy, right? But how do you actually turn it into action, day in and day out? Well, this is the story of how one teacher dedicated his life to getting literally thousands of students ready for that highest office. And as you'll see, it started in the classroom, but the ripples of his work went way, way beyond that.
All right, let's start at the beginning, at the source, the school itself. This is where the foundation for everything else was laid, treating the school not just as a place to learn stuff, but as a real-life laboratory for citizenship.
And we are not talking about a flash in the pan here. This was a marathon, a commitment that spanned over 3 decades, starting way back in 1993 as a teacher's assistant, and then from 1996 on, dedicating himself to a single school district, Lee's Summit R7. That is a lifetime of dedication right there.
And his dedication was anything but passive. He wasn't just teaching the curriculum, he was building it. He created a whole civics lab. He developed websites to help students nail the state civics exam, and he even coached 7 different sports. This shows you that for him, teaching citizenship wasn't just for government class. It was happening on the football field, in after-school programs, and in making sure every single student got the support they needed. And the resources he created? Honestly, it's staggering. To help students really get the law, he single-handedly authored over 1,300 summaries of landmark Supreme Court cases. Just think about that for a second. An entire library of legal knowledge built from scratch for his students?
And he didn't stop there. He did the same thing for the school's Black History website, writing over 250 biographies of great Americans. See, this wasn't just about teaching government. It was about building a deep, rich, and accessible picture of the country's whole story and all its people.
But here's the thing, and this is so important. When you have that kind of passion in a classroom, it just doesn't stay contained. Those efforts on the ground created a ripple effect that started to move beyond the school and out into the whole community.
So let's look at that next ripple. This is where we see how those classroom principles were taken and applied on a massive district-wide scale.
One of the absolute cornerstones of this was a program called the R7 Votes Mock Election. And listen, this wasn't some little school event. This is recognized as one of the largest student mock elections in the entire United States.
How large, you ask? He coordinated 18,000 students, from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, in a single election event. I mean, that is how you teach democracy. You let students actually practice it, and you do it on a scale that feels real and powerful. And the citizenship lessons weren't just about voting either. They were about service. Through an Adopt a Soldier program he put together, the school community sent over 800 pounds of care packages to troops deployed overseas. You know, his commitment went way beyond just school-organized events, too. He didn't just teach civics, he was living it. He was out there running voter registration drives, serving on a federal board for the Selective Service System. He was modeling the very thing he taught every single day. So you've transformed a school. You've transformed an entire district. What's next? Well, the next ripple carried this passion and this incredible expertise onto the national stage. This is the part of the story where a local educator becomes a national resource, sharing the blueprint for what powerful civics education looks like with anyone and everyone who wants to learn. He took his work to YouTube, creating a public channel all about government and civics. On it, over 2,000 educational videos. This is a teacher, just freely giving away his life's work and knowledge to the whole country. And yeah, people are watching. Those videos have racked up over 700,000 views. That's hundreds of thousands of students and learners all across the nation, benefiting from work that started in a single Missouri classroom. Incredible. And beyond the internet, he shared his expertise directly. He worked with more than 40 different school districts all over the Midwest to help them improve their own civics programs. Talk about a force multiplier for impact. Okay, so when you see all of this, the sheer volume of work, the scale of it all, that unwavering focus for 30 years, you just have to ask the question, right? What is the engine behind all this? What drives someone to dedicate their life so completely to one single mission?
And the answer, it turns out, is deeply personal. The source of this massive ripple effect that touched so many lives, it comes from a single point: family.
The connection here is just remarkable. His grandfather was a founding charter member of the very same Lee's Summit R7 school board way back in 1949. The roots of his service to this specific district run generations deep.
And in his own words, it all just clicks into place. The entire 30-year career, every initiative, every video, every late night, it was all a focused effort to honor that legacy. It was about realizing a vision that his grandfather set in motion decades and decades earlier.
And that leaves us with a final thought. We've just seen how one person's legacy can inspire generations of civic impact. So it's worth asking ourselves, right? Who was that person for you? Which teacher, which family member took the time to build your foundation for that highest office, the office of citizen?